Welcome back to Mad Aaron's Wasteland server. In today's video we have got another exciting event in store for you. This time it is not a combat event, this is an engineering event, and the players have the task of extracting the statue of Rupert that's been stolen from the local Rupert Vill town, and now they need to transport it back to its rightful place on the monument. So what they need to do is work out a solution on how to get it out of this pit. They could drive it, but the terrain is really rough. They could operate or construct some sort of crane. We've made the rules quite lax for this event, so the players can kind of construct whatever they need to do to try and get it out of this pit. So one of the players is going to attempt to lower his drilling arm down into the pit, connect it onto the statue and bring it up. On the other hand, other players are building a roadway from one of the exits all the way through the canyon to the end. But of course there is some casualties. There's some mistakes made by the players as well. Some players try to build a vertical ramp going straight up, but the truck is simply too heavy and can't get out of the canyon. Now, as you can see, the players have managed to make it to one of the rovers in the pit while doing some extreme off-roading. The rover on the top of the bridge has decided to extend the bridge out and flatten it down so they can drive onto it. And RAB's large rover here has a plan of hoisting the hull of that rover, complete with the statue, onto the back of their rover and driving it out over a little road that they made. So you can see they've managed to hoist it up, they just need to plan their route out. Now the rest of the players that are helping with this sort of ground extraction are moving on ahead and welding up a path. On the other hand, the rover that's going to try lifting another one of these grids up, of course there's some casualties. We caught that man there who fell off while cutting one of these screens off. And remember that them grids that this rover's sitting on won't take much to destroy, so they need to be really careful. The road's being constructed in front of the RAB rover there, and the system is about to start on the drill rig. Now it's going to take some time, and as we dive in here you can see that this is quite a complicated machine, but it has some really cool features. And this drill rig is actually capable of almost endlessly extending. It can have some serious deep mining capabilities, and it all works with pistons and rotors. Yes, that sounds like an invitation to clang, because it is. Now RAB are managing to maneuver for a bit of tasty off-roading here through the canyon. You can see how they put the plates down at the bottom there so the rover doesn't get stuck, but they still need to be very careful. Rolling this rover over onto its roof would be extremely dangerous for them. So they managed to navigate over the first bit. They've made quite a good bit of ground. They just need to make it through the next part of the canyon where a roadway has already been constructed, and this rover and statue will be out of harm's way and be ready to transport it back to the monument. Now back over at the drilling rig, you can see how the machine is lowering down. It's welding up new components and it's adding on an additional rotor head, so the rotor then can lock onto that new rotor head and disconnect from the previous one. RAB are having a bit of a traction issue though. The wheels are spinning, but they're just not getting enough grip to maneuver through this next part of the canyon. The other players are frantically maneuvering, trying to drill areas out and make sure that they've got traction. There isn't too much further to go, and there we go. RAB have managed to make it through that area there. Crawling up the side of this little road that they've made, they're almost out of the canyon. You can see the other rover there leading the way and making sure this temporary road that they've constructed is fixed. Now another faction decide to join the fray here, throwing one of these giant blocks off the side as they build a weird piston contraption. I think the idea is another crane, a crane that's a little bit faster to operate. RAB are almost out of the pit, and you can see there has been some great progress from the miner here itself. So the miner has managed to lower its arm halfway through with the operator standing on the mining arm. They've attached a landing gear to the bottom there, as you can see, so this should be quite a good solution, probably one of the funner solutions of actually picking up that rover at the bottom. Now RAB have managed to make it out of the pit, so that is one dog raised from the pit. The more dogs that the players get out of this pit, it means that they'll have more chances of making it through rotor head controlled territory to return this monument back to the rightful place and claim their reward. So you can see this giant piston is going down, and it's just a little bit off the target, but you'll see they'll make some adjustments to that piston to make it contact that rover. Now the other mining rig here is almost down in position. As you can see, it's extended all the way out now, and they're just working on positioning the rover underneath to connect it up. Other factions have joined in, so there's plenty of other players here who are helping coordinate and build, so a massive big thanks to them. Another group of players think that by adding some more wheels to this rover, they might be able to just drive it straight up of the wall of the pit, but I think this was just hopeful thinking. They're going to need to come up with a different solution to that. And there we go. We have the miner now hoisting the dog rover up to the surface. It's going to be a long process as it has to cut down and de-weld. You can see some blocks falling off. But this long process is worth it because doing it in this manner is a real nice way of engineering a solution. The piston crane on the left there looks a bit more dangerous, but it was a bit quicker to construct. So we'll see if that's able to keep up. So they've managed to widen the hole, but I'm seeing an issue here already. When they lift that drilling rig up, it's going to now catch on the side of the bridge because it looks like it's rotated ever so slightly. So the other team are positioning the other rover underneath another landing gear, and they're attempting to lift that up. It's all a bit dangerous up here at the moment. There's a lot that could go wrong with that bridge. But things seem to be going well for both teams here, and the piston lift has also got a connection there as well, but it looks like it's going all wrong. The drill rover has retracted all the way up to the top, but something has got caught. It's losing traction and no one is in the cockpit. The players are frantically trying to get over the ladders and get back in. Will they manage to retain control? It looks like wheels are attempting to be driven. We've lost lock on the landing gear, and this is someone's base, remember. This is someone's base going over the side into the canyon. Oh, God, I feel so bad. And there we go. Massive collision with the ground. That is going to be difficult to get out of that pit. The rover is still attached to the bottom, though, so if they manage to lift that up, they would have another one out. But I would be absolutely devastated with that result. The other piston machine has a problem of its own. It can't lift the dog rover high enough out of the pit. So the players are going to have to come up with another solution for that. But as you can see, they're almost at the top. They're almost out. All they need to do is work out how to rotate, add an additional piston, and they'll be up. And there is another ramp being built here by players. So overall, we're seeing a lot of success. Everyone managed to get their dog out of the pit. So you're going to have to join us next time when we see the players transport their rovers through enemy territory, protecting these monuments to get it back to Rupert Vill. And I have to say, there is a lot of carnage on this route. There is attacks by roads ahead, large and small grids, and there is a moment when one of the dogs, well, we'll have to find out if it gets taken back by the roads ahead. And as you can see here, it's going to be an extremely dangerous route. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed something a little bit different from the usual combat stuff, make sure to hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video.